Hey, you guys!
This is the DG Podcast. We're back for episode 94, part B. Rhett's here with me.
Like we weren't going to come back somehow.
Yeah. Well, you know, if we died suddenly between now and part A, you know.
What would Chance do with his time in between driving?
Unsafely,
I might add, unsafely driving.
Well, yeah, if he's listening to us, he's probably sitting there screaming at us going, why are you talking about The Hobbit again?
Ooh, let's talk about The Hobbit.
Well, I did have a top 10 list that's the top 10 things that ruined the Hobbit movie.
Well, this is whatever you want to talk about.
I know.
The funny thing is, Chance will frequently listen to us in his car.
Yeah.
And he used to do it with headphones, which is super unsafe.
Yeah.
And he finally realized his wife had a FM transmitter or whatever, so he's doing that. And he assured me he's now listening much more safely.
There you go. At least he's learning something new, right?
Well, part of me would have been really bummed out because we'd have lost our only podcast listener, and the other part of me would have been really bummed out because he did it while listening to the podcast. Like, he just ate it while he was listening to us. The amusing part would be the fact that
he was listening to us.
Yeah, we were me complaining about something was the last thing he heard going through his ears.
Nice.
I was just pissing and moaning about something, and he was like, not like this.
I didn't want to go like this. Anything happening for you the last couple of days?
Nothing specifically. There's a freaking fly in here. Get out. I can't see you. Last couple of days, I've been playing Rome 2, and literally, it's been a long time, and I used to play this game a lot, but I just started playing on my laptop because it doesn't run on my Windows 7 PC.
Really?
On my XP laptop, Star Wars Rebellion.
Oh, you're playing Star Wars Rebellion on your PC. Oh, I thought you were talking about Rome 2. I'm like, really? It doesn't?
No, Rome 2, yeah. Rome 2 is one of those games where it's like, you're not willing to play this on an upgraded PC. Well, you know what, screw you. If you don't have enough respect for us, we're not going to let you play. No, it's literally one of those, it won't run on anything that isn't like XP or higher.
Nice.
Stupid. Pretentious, stupid game. But I've been playing Star Wars Rebellion, which is a great game.
Which one was that one?
It's a galaxy-wide map, and you actually play the two factions.
Okay. And
you spread out, you take over planets and stuff. And part of it's a strategic thing, and part of it's an empire builder.
Okay.
The game's a lot of fun. Not a lot of people know about it or remember it, but it's so much fun. I used to play the crap out of that game.
Cool.
And you get different heroes, and you can use them to convince different planets to join your cause, or use them to like assault other people, capture people, destroy buildings on the planet and what have you.
Okay.
You can level them up by doing tasks over and over again. It increases their skill level. And
right.
Stuff. Get out of here, stupid fly. It's actually a blast to play. I've played it a lot. The Empire, I'm playing right now, and you can build the Death Star and literally destroy planets, like destroy resources.
Just go up to the planet and boom, it's gone.
Oh yeah, like planets you could literally take over and turn into like resource hubs. Just be like, screw it, I'm making a lesson of these people and destroy them all. And there's some weird sort of satisfaction of destroying a planet. And you do it once, and it's like you taught everybody a lesson. You do it enough, and like the whole galaxy will like start to
Turn against you.
to rebel. Oh yeah, you start destroying planets like mad, and nobody will like you. And there was one game where I decided I was just going to burn them all down. Because, of course it's me, and I decided I was going to burn the galaxy down to the ground. So I started to just destroy planets one right after another. And even Coruscant turned against me, and I only ended up having Coruscant left and like 30 troops on the planet to keep it from going into outright rebellion. Like 30 regiments of like stormtroopers or something, just so that they didn't start to fall apart on me. That's how bad it was.
Wow.
And the rest of the galaxy was just an empty crater. Just one right after another. I went through the dozens and, well, it's probably hundreds of planets and just started blowing them up. It's pretty maniacal, honestly.
Well, you're sitting there and suddenly there's no one left in the galaxy but you.
And guess what? You do win. Because there is no one left in the galaxy but you.
Well, that whatever works for you, right?
You want to be the last man standing, not the guy with the most planets and resources and ships. Those are just what make it so that you can overcome the rebellion.
But if you go through and just systematically destroy planet after planet,
if you literally destroy all of the planets, the rebellion will die because there's nowhere else for it to go.
Nice.
You could just one right after another keep blowing up the planets they're on.
So, I did play some more of the Borderlands DLC. It's called Claptastic Voyage. It's
that sounds like a serious problem.
It sounds funny anyway. It reminds me of that line where it's in Shanghai Nights, where it's the sequel to Shanghai Noon, which it wasn't as good as the first one, but Jackie Chan and Owen Wilson, I think it's the other guy, they go to England, and the waiter's there, and he asks them if they want spotted dick, which is a pudding, dessert kind of thing. And he turns to him and he says, "This guy wants to know if I have the clap." Anyway, so what it is this guy Tacitor, who was in charge of Hyperion before Jack took over, hid this code module inside of Claptrap, and Jack doesn't want to dismantle Claptrap because he's a prototype. And
I hate stories like that. Can I just say? I hate those stories like that where it's like, oh, interesting droid who all of a sudden has like way more importance in the major plot than it should. It's like, hey, look, it's just R2-D2.
Yeah, exactly.
Who has the most interesting, intricate storyline. Like R2-D2 has more legend, almost as much legend behind him as like the Skywalker legacy.
Very true.
Because like he carries through with everybody else. He's like the Skywalker legacy, like overseer.
Well, it's one of those stupid things that they did for the prequel movies. They should have had a different droid. Honestly, you know what I mean? R2-D2 shows up.
They didn't have to have a droid. They could have had something different. They could have had something new. A lot of it was trying to bring back the old stuff because of nostalgia, so that everybody like freaked out. Hey, it's R2-D2. And for some reason, R2-D2 in the past had more abilities and greater powers than R2-D2 in the future.
Exactly.
Like he had rockets. He could fly. He was practically better than Superman. He had flamethrowers. It was out of control.
It really was.
It was to the ridiculousness.
But anyway, they digistruct you and you go inside Claptrap to recover this unit. So you're running around inside of Claptrap, and there are some things you're walking around, and pop-up ads will jump up out of the ground, and you will not be able to actually walk through them. You have to walk around. And they have these little hovering bots that they don't do any damage to you. You can really just walk through them and everything, but you get a lot of annoying pop-ups on your screen if you don't take them out. Like Mr. Torg will come up and he'll give a plug for his guns, and then you'll get like Marcus saying, come use my gun and ammo vending machines, and things like that. So those will pop up, and then you blow them away. And
I like Borderlands, but they way overdid the. Hey, look, these are a few interesting characters, like the guy who does the vehicles and
Scooter,
and
yeah.
Marcus who sells the guns, and it's like, okay, that's interesting. Well, now we're not gonna like flesh out anything else. These guys are gonna be the only major sellers in the entire planet over and over again.
And
You
it's
know what I
really
mean? It's like everything that's ever done is because of these guys, and you're like, yeah, you could flesh out the story a little bit. I mean, come on.
you could. It's one of the things with the pre-sequel happens on the moon, and they still bring Moxie into it. And you still buy guns from Marcus. He's not there, but he has the gun vending machine still.
Of course he does.
Dr. Zed isn't there. It's this Nurse Nina. But anyway, there's some interesting things that they did. Like, you'll get on these pathways, and they'll whisk you from point A to point B, and there's no floor underneath you. So if you're passing over something, you can drop through the floor if you need to. And then you can jump back up into the pathway, and it'll continue you on your journey, which is kind of interesting.
Huh.
So I've been playing that, and then I got this anime at the library called Log Horizon. I'm not
Sounds familiar.
I'm not sold on it yet. I've watched a few episodes. The thing is that it sounds a lot like Sword Art Online, and I thought Sword Art Online was really well done. And
there's too much local hype for that game that I have been unwilling to watch it yet.
yeah, and there is some of that.
And by local hype, I mean you and Lindsay are really into it.
Yeah. I want to see the next part of Sword Art Online, which is Gun Art Online. But they haven't, as far as I know, they haven't translated it yet. But this Log Horizon, it's kind of the same thing. They're in an MMO and they get trapped in it and they can't log out. The only thing one of the major differences between the two is that if you die in this one, Log Horizon, you respawn. And so you can keep going, whereas in Sword Art Online, if you died in the game console, really, that you're hooked up to, it kills you in real life. So there's a huge incentive not to die. But they're dealing with player killers right now in this episode, and they did that in the other one. And they did it really well, but I'm wondering how they're going to do it here in Log Horizon. Because what they're doing is, the players kind of are getting bored. They're like, we have nothing to do. And so some of them are like, well, let's kill other players and steal their stuff. So that's what they're doing, and it's like, really? You're doing that? That's crappy. I hate player killers.
Yeah. I hate PvP.
Yeah, I don't do PvP. I really hate PvP. Actually, I was playing Diablo once in a computer lab, and the way Diablo worked is, if you're playing it in the lab, I don't know if this was, if this worked anywhere else, but since you were on the LAN, it's like anybody could join your game. You couldn't really, as far as I know, you just lock them out. It was Diablo 2. And this guy jumped into my game, and it was the first time I'd ever played it. And I had a friend, and he's like, here's all this gear. And so he just dumped a bunch of gear on me, so I'm putting it on. Turns out it was really good gear, so I was grateful to him. But this other player started walking around in our game. And we're like, okay, whatever. The next thing I know, he turns and starts attacking me. And I think what happened was he saw my gear. And he wanted it. Fortunately, my gear was so good that I hit him and he basically exploded. And so he's like, yeah, I'm not going to try that again, and didn't get back on our game. So, one of the funny things about it was, with Diablo 2, if you did kill a player, you could loot their ear.
Yeah, you take it as an item.
So anyway, I wanted to. Go ahead.
I wanted to share something really quick. Chance bought Dark Souls. Yeah, he sent me a picture of him holding the cartridge. He's like, finally got the stupid game because you guys have talked about it so much. And I was like, good luck. Just remember, you're going to die. And it's not like one of those cliches, you're going to die. It's like, it's part of the gameplay. You will die. Just embrace the fact that you're going to die. And the whole point of the game is sort of learning from what had happened. So after you die, it's trying to get better at the game and gain,
you're like, okay, that skeleton killed me last time. How do I get past it without getting killed this time?
He has these weird, goofy swings that he does. I need to make sure I watch out for those. Those sorts of things.
If I run under here real quick, then he can't shoot me with the flaming arrows that he's using. And then I can get up behind him and take him out.
It's like, those spear guys are really dangerous. How do I kill those spear guys? I need to make sure I don't do what I did before. That sort of thing. Anyway, he played, and I got a message later on that night, and he goes, it was something like, for crying out loud, I've been playing for 5 minutes and died 3 times.
Did he try to take out that main boss?
I don't know, but I told him, I was like, if there's a big giant guy when the first time you run into him, don't fight him, just run on past. Incidentally, it's when you first run into him, you run past and out the door.
The next time what you do is you drop on him from above and you basically crit him as you're going down.
Yeah, he said he beat him, but when you first run into him, if you actually beat him before and not run past with that broken sword or whatever you have, you actually get item. It's a demon great axe or something like that, which you actually don't get until late game. You actually run into guys that'll drop those. The thing is, not only is it really difficult to beat that guy, but you're doing so little damage, it's like a half-hour fight. So, is it worth it just to get that item? I don't know. Unless you want to use that the rest of the game.
You can get the dragon tail sword that's really kind of nice. Early in the game.
Yeah, fairly early. It's a really good weapon, and you can use it for quite some time. The problem with the dragon tail sword is it doesn't actually scale. And the items you use to level it up are so rare, it's almost not worth blowing them on leveling up that sword. But one thing he did say is it's nice to know that individual guys can kill you just as easily as bosses can. And I was like, it's not the same game you thought it was. Single guys become somewhat dangerous. It's not until later where not only do you have a lot of skill and potentially better armor, but you do so much more damage that a lot of single guys will die in one hit, so they're not as big and problematic, but they still will pick down your health if you're not vigilant, if you're not careful.
And the thing is that you could be going through a level or an area that's appropriate to your level, and there's still certain pathways and certain directions you don't want to go. Because there will be an enemy that you just can't handle at that point. You have to come back and kill him later.
Oh yeah, if right out the gate you go to Firelink Shrine, if you go to the left into the graveyard, you can get some cool items, and some cool items earlier than you're meant to have them if you run around the graveyard. But they will kill you out the gate, and they are way too powerful for you that early.
Exactly. So they built the game in such a way that it's intriguing. It's like, I can go down this way and get some great stuff, but I'll get wasted if I do.
Oh yeah, you can actually go to one of the later game areas, New Londo, if you go down below Firelink Shrine and run into these ghosts, and you literally cannot kill the ghosts. But you can go down there, and if you're careful and fast, you can run past a lot of creatures and then just pick up a lot of decent stuff. But you literally can't actually kill the ghosts. You actually have to be cursed, or you have to have one of their ghost swords to kill them.
Interesting. Anyway, I found a better... We tried this out last week. and I read a top 10 list for Rhett and had him react to it. This week I found a better one, much more in the vein of what we're trying to do here.
All right, let's see.
12 most perfect castings in upcoming comic book movies.
Oh.
I like I said, this one I think is very good for our particular genre
Purposes.
and
so that I can get pissed off.
Yeah, exactly. And you're gonna get pissed off with the first one.
Okay, what? So we're number 10,
actually
right?
12. Number 12, Channing Tatum as Gambit.
They haven't even cast. They've not even made the movie yet.
Right.
Okay, first of all, Channing Tatum is not that brilliant an actor. He was in some recent wrestling movie, and which gives me the impression that he might actually be able to pull off drama. But the guy, he's not. I very severely doubt he could pull off a Cajun accent.
Yeah, I doubt it as well.
I have a strong feeling he's going to be one of the worst decisions ever. Is this written by like a 12-year-old girl?
Let me back up.
Did you look at the age? Is it like
no,
Jessica?
It's KJ Stewart, and it's a guy.
12?
Durham, England.
Oh, he's English. That explains it.
He's anyway. He looks to be in his 30s. Anyway, so Channing Tatum is Gambit. Number 11, Jeremy Irons as Alfred Pennyworth.
Did they cast
Well, it says
him?
he's been, let's see, Alfred Pennyworth, Michael Caine.
Is he
being played by Sean Pertwee in the Gotham television series?
Is he in the new?
He will be Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. Yes.
Jeremy Irons. Actually, no. I don't think he's a good choice. Alfred Pennyworth is sort of proper. Jeremy Irons has got like a villain voice.
He does.
Wasn't he the voice of Scar in Lion King? He doesn't. Is he British?
He is British.
I don't think his voice. It doesn't sound like he has a British accent.
He can do very upper class British, which is very subtle as far as the accent goes.
Well, it's like you're gonna have Alfred walking around, but he's gonna sound like the creature that's hiding in your closet. You know what I mean? It's like they just need a scene in Batman vs. Superman where like Batman's sitting around doing stuff in the Batcave, or Daredevil, if you will, and Daredevil's down in the Batcave doing stuff, and and Iron Man, Jeremy Irons it suddenly comes out of the, like you could hear his voice but you can't see it, and then he slowly comes out of the shadows, and even Batman gets slightly uncomfortable. It's like Jeremy Irons should have the voice for Batman, not be his butler.
There you go. Okay, so number 10, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson as Black Adam.
I don't think he's a good... Who wrote this list?
I told you, some English dude.
This is... I don't want to right out the gate dump him for being a bad choice.
He's not a very good actor.
The Rock overacts, and it works really well with wrestling.
Yeah.
But he needs to figure out a way to be subtle, because he gets away with that whole, like, I'm The Rock, I've got big muscles, and I'm kind of charming, wink, wink,
right.
You know what I mean? As a black... I don't think he can even do, like, a villain without doing, like, the flamboyant villain, like he does in wrestling.
You know, I think he could do a flamboyant villain.
Yeah, but Black Adam
Black Adam's not a flamboyant villain.
He's cold and calculating. Black Adam is... He's almost like your Joseph Stalin.
Yeah.
Like, he's cold, and then, like, he has, like, spouts of anger.
You know...
I don't think he could pull it off, honestly. I wouldn't say it's a terrible choice.
He's got the
Rock,
physique
but I
for
think,
it. Definitely.
Well, yeah, but I think that's all they cared about. It's like, well, The Rock is buff.
He can be
have
Black
him as
Adam.
Black Adam or whatever.
The thing is that he might be able to do a good Doom. Because there's this certain...
Doom?
There's
really?
this certain... Whenever I see Doom...
You mean like the guy in the suit, not the voice?
Yeah. Well, even kind of the attitude. You know what I mean? Doom is
really?
this guy who's like, I am so much better than everyone else. I am the pinnacle of existence.
No, he would. No. He wouldn't be a good Doom, and I'll tell you why. Doom needs to be the cocky, self-assured, I'm all powerful and better than you businessman.
He does have some melodrama in there.
Doom is more like a Mad Men 1950s, 1960s sort of like ruthless businessman who thinks he's better than everybody else, and if given the chance, if he was born in America, he would become like a terrible politician and become president one day because of his boundless ambition. I don't think The Rock can do that. If I were to pick a role for The Rock where he fit perfectly, a role for The Rock where he fit perfectly. This might sound cliche, but I immediately went either The Thing.
Yeah.
Or Luke Cage.
Well, Luke Cage, I think, more than The Thing, because The Thing has some depression issues.
Well, The Thing has to be a little bit Brooklyn, too.
Yeah.
The thing is, The Thing has
attitude.
Does. And he sort of walks around with that snarky sort of thing. The perfect role for The Rock, as far as all the superheroes are concerned. Here we go. DC Universe, he can play Hercules. Yeah. And despite the fact he's played Hercules before, Hercules has always been over the top in the DC Universe. You know, I'm the son of Zeus, blah, blah. I mean, he's always sort of overdoing it anyway, and so is The Rock. That's true. He's always overacting. As far as the Marvel Universe, no, not Luke Cage. I'll chew on that for a minute, and it'll come up halfway through our list.
Margot Robbie as Harley Quinn. Unfortunately, I don't know much about her.
I don't know who... Wasn't she the one that was in
yes, she was.
Street? Okay, first of all, I haven't seen the movie. Second of all, the only reason why anybody remember her from the movie is she apparently does full frontal. So they went for really attractive, overly sexualized. She's probably perfect for Harley Quinn. And I'm guessing, too, she might not actually be a very good actress, so if she comes across as a little stupid, it will probably work.
Maybe, yeah. That might work.
So that might actually be a good option for Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading about her as being chosen, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah. I looked at I did a little search for her just now, and I'm like, okay. Yeah, there's nothing that she's been in that I can think of that I've seen. Okay, now I'm probably going to slaughter her name. Gal Gadot, something like that, as Wonder Woman.
I don't know much about her. I've seen pictures. She looks like the part. The one complaint I've heard is that she's kind of a skinny guy.
Yeah.
And Wonder Woman is a thick, muscly lady. She's more like a Ronda Rousey as opposed to, a skinny, I walk down the runway
That's
sort of
very
person.
true.
And she didn't take the criticisms of her not being very buff well, apparently on Twitter. She sort of countered those. She visually looks like the part. I wish she was bigger. I don't know much about the actress and whether or not she'd pull off the role, though, so I can't tell you.
But, I mean, she does have the dark complexion and stuff, and so that's, a bonus in her favor.
Well, she needs to look more Greek than anything.
But she's only 5'10".
Was Wonder Woman very tall?
Well, let's see. I'd have to look that up. I'll look that up while you are.
They put her on heels, and she'll look impressive.
While you're reacting to the next one, I'll look up Wonder Woman and see how tall she was. Paul Rudd as Ant-Man.
Yes and no. Paul Rudd's actually a decent actor. The problem is his greatest acting chops are comedy. I think though, especially when they've already set the precedent for having a brilliant technologically based superhero be somewhat witty. And it's not, I don't think it's a bad thing with Paul Rudd being the Ant-Man. And the director apparently they have doing it has done comedies in the past. So this might be sort of like a witty version, because it's not actually Hank Pym. Hank Pym's the guy that's giving him the suit. It's what's his name?
Yeah, it's the second Ant-Man.
Yeah, so we'll see how he does. I actually think that he might go well for it, but if they go too tongue-in-cheek, it's not going to pull off, and people aren't going to care for the movie. He has to play as serious as he can, and then react to the garbage around him, and let the crap happening be funny. Don't have him push the humor.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's like if you hire a comedian for a serious movie, have the comedian rein it in. That way, when he does deliver the funny stuff, even just deadpan, it's funnier than it should be. Because if you turn him into slapstick like he's done in the past, it's not.
Yeah, you have to be really careful with that. Anyway, so Wonder Woman is 6 foot, so she's got a.
It's not terrible. I think if they put on heels, it's not going to look too bad.
Okay.
So I'm not worried about that.
So the next one, Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther.
I don't know a lot about Chadwick Boseman, so I can't really comment. He looks the part. Black Panther's got to have that noble, regal thing to him.
And be black.
And I'm excited to finally see them do justice to... Actually, they did a really good job with Hawkman. Not Hawkman, what's his name?
Right,
Falcon?
they did. Falcon was cast very well. Done very well.
Oh, he did such a good job, but I really liked how they did Falcon. I really would like to see Falcon more.
Yeah, he was an interesting character.
I'd like to see him in I'd like to see him in Avengers 2 or something. Or he could be in an Iron Man movie.
Yeah.
But, I don't know anything about this guy that they got for Panther. I don't think I've seen him in anything. He has to have a regalness to him. And if they did it right, he for the first good chunk of the movie, he's regal and almost, I'm better than this, or I'm better than you. And then he finds his humility later on.
That would be interesting. See,
That's what they should do, because it humanizes the character more. They could do it better than they sort of pulled off with Thor.
Yeah.
But it was so heavy-handed with Thor, where he had to, get reduced and then be like, well, I guess I'm screwed. I'm with humans now, or whatever. But if they gave him, the arrogant, I'm royalty sort of thing, I don't have to deal with this crap, and then he finds his humility later on, or at least his empathy, then it could work out really well. I'd like to see how.
See, one of the things that it seems that they underplay with Black Panther is that he's not just a superhero. His secret identity is he's the king of Wakanda.
He actually has crap to do.
I mean,
this one, he's actually starting out, I don't know where it's supposed to be, New Jersey or something, but Black Panther, when he first started out in some of the comic lines, to sort of go through the process of becoming a man or earning the right to be Black Panther, he had to live in America for quite some time. They might even do he's living in America, learns of his royal heritage, inherits the Black Panther thing. They could do it multiple ways. I actually think what they should do, because what they should do is have him know he's a king and go through the learning process. What they're probably going to do is overdue because of like the racial aspect. They want to really make him as good a character as possible. So they're gonna overdo his nobility and how good a person he is. Like the first scene in the movie when he's a young kid is going to be like saving somebody. You know what I mean? It's going to be like he's compassion or something. Like Spider-Man was so good because he had crap to deal with and he was unsure of himself and he had human problems. They're going to turn Black Panther into the reason why nobody likes Superman. he's gonna be two-dimension and he's gonna be uninteresting, and they're gonna ruin the character because of it, and nobody's gonna like it, and you won't be able to complain because he's a black character. Yeah. I really hope they get it right, because Black Panther's one of those characters where if they blow it, they're going to ruin minority superheroes for a long time.
Yeah, and the thing is that he is... there's got to be some arrogance to him. Because he is royalty where he comes from. And I don't mean to say that in, like, he's not royalty here. What I mean to say is that he grew up being treated a certain way and garnering a certain amount of respect, and then he gets here, and it's like, we don't do that.
You know what would be the bravest thing to do? If they did the Origin America finding out your noble roots thing. A brave, potentially mind-blowing movie, if they did the origin where he's in America and he finds out he's royalty, would be he is basically a piece of crap kid. I mean, they could even do like gang member or gets in trouble constantly. And he has to find that redemption moment and become a better person.
That would be interesting.
That would be a brave, mind-blowing story if they could pull it off. But the problem is they're not that brave to try and do something like that, because they would see it as too racial. It's like, oh, he's black, he's in a gang. I was like, most gangs you do realize they're just black gangs, like they exist.
Yeah. One of the things that I read recently when I was looking for some list that you could react off of, one of the guys that was writing, he said something like, let me think for a second. He said something like, they don't do deep plots in these comic book movies because they're not trying to get the intellectuals. They're trying to get this towards kids and comic book fans, and not to...
Yeah, but Winter Soldier had brilliant subtext.
It did.
It was so well done. And it wasn't over your head, but if you sat and then thought about it, there are a lot of parallels, and it had really good subtext. It was almost like an allegory.
Okay, so the next one is Jared Leto as Joker.
People have been overpraising the fact that he got the position as Joker. I am not convinced that Jared Leto is going to be a decent Joker, honestly. I'm not convinced. And it's hard to roll on the heels of what was probably... Like, every time we've seen Joker, Jack Nicholson and then Heath Ledger, they've been blow you away, like, good. Like, Jack Nicholson was freaking awesome. How he pulled off Joker was not only perfectly the 1940s, overdone, villainous, almost Batman cartoon Joker, but it was memorable, and he had some of the best lines, and it was almost one of those like I'm so crazy I could just do whatever, like pull out my gun and shoot somebody. And then you had Heath Ledger, who was psychologically unhinged, almost like crazy smart. You know what I mean? It's like you can't predict him, he's just chaos, but he's so chaotic, he's intelligent how he goes about things. And it was so brilliantly done. stepping into the shoes after a guy has died.
He's got
who had brilliantly pulled off.
He's got to blow us away. He does.
Yeah, if he does a good, not great role, he will get crap thrown at him. Like, you can't pick up after the death of a brilliant acting. It's like, who else is going to try and pull off Rhett Butler?
Yeah, exactly. Nobody, because the role is too iconic now. It's too well done. And it's hard. I know Jared Leto is a really good actor. It's hard for me to see him as the Joker yet. But we will see. We will see. I'm not encouraged by the fact that apparently this Joker is going to be buff. I kid you not, they actually said they put him into training because they want to make him somewhat muscular. Yeah.
Because classic Joker is sort of a wiry, dangerous sort of fellow. But they're making him muscular, which makes me go, eh.
It's one of those things. It's, he does.
And Jared Leto's not muscular, so they're adding it to him. He has the perfect physique now.
Yeah. It's one of those things where Joker... he's strong. I mean, he fights against Batman, so he's got to have some strength on him. But
it's like that weird chemical thing strength.
I was gonna say, but it's not the bulked up, muscly dude strength. It's the, wiry, whipcord strength, because this guy is lean.
Well, it's like when he fell into the vats of Ace Chemicals, he became something more. It broke his mind, but it also made him weirdly resilient to stuff, and he heals like crazy and a lot of other things. He has kind of a sub-super strength. It's not a super strength, but he is much stronger than the average person.
So, the next one, Ryan Reynolds is Deadpool.
I want to say Ryan Reynolds is actually going to do a good job.
I do.
Ryan Reynolds is one of those characters where I've seen him in comedies, and I was like, eh. And then I've seen him in some dramas, and I was like, he's not bad. He did a decent Deadpool when he was in the movie in Wolverine Origins. The problem is they sort of took the Deadpool off into this weird direction. Well, he has been pushing for a Deadpool movie for so long now. Now that they're finally doing it, I actually think he is probably a very good choice for it. The best choice, probably not, but a very good choice. And he's very committed to the role, and he really wants to make this. So there's going to be a lot of enthusiasm for it as well. So I think he's actually going to do it.
Yeah, when I saw the test footage they did with him as Deadpool, I was pretty impressed. You remember that stuff that got leaked? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Benedict Cumberbatch as Doctor Strange. See, the thing is...
Yes.
What was that?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Benedict Cumberbatch is a very good actor.
An excellent actor.
And not just like, I have a really good voice. He's actually very good actor. He's like a classic Shakespearean thing. And if I were to say anybody playing Doctor Strange right up, like the cliched first person to come to your head might end up being Benedict Cumberbatch. The problem is it's too on the nose, and I don't know how well. I always want to reserve a little bit of like maybe,
right?
You know what I mean? It's almost too perfect a fit where it makes me think that like maybe it'll seem too on the nose. You know what I mean? You need it's like you could pick the perfect actor for a role. But you want an actor that will make the role theirs.
It makes complete sense.
So you could have the perfect, exact individual that looks exactly like they should for specifically what they're trying to do, but you actually want a character like with Heath Ledger, who doesn't look perfect for Joker, but made the Joker his so intrinsically that it was beautiful. Whereas... I think Benedict Cumberbatch is capable of doing that, but he's so on the nose, it's almost like you're just going to keep seeing...
It's like it's not a stretch for him,
comic book
it's
version.
Just Benedict Cumberbatch.
Yeah, you're going to keep seeing the comic book version of him whenever he's doing it, so he has to bring something more to it than just, I'm going to speak properly and have my deep, cool voice.
I think he can do it.
To be fair, though, I'm excited to hear his voice actually doing incantations.
Doing what? Oh, doing incantations. For some reason, I thought you said Camtasia, and I'm like, wait, what?
Yes, I make up
Well,
words
Camtasia is a software program where you do, like, you screen captures and videos and stuff, so I was completely confused.
See, I thought you said Camtasia, which in my mind turned it into that Fantasia movie from Disney, but instead of Mickey Mouse, it was a can with, like, a wizard hat.
Nice.
So both
okay,
of us
now this next one.
Screwed that up.
Ben Affleck as Batman.
I actually think he's a bad choice. Yeah. For a few different reasons. Ben Affleck has become a better actor.
Yeah,
over
he
time.
has.
He's not a method actor like Matt Damon is. I believe Matt Damon is a method actor. He actually approaches acting in a different way. I actually think Ben Affleck is a good actor, but it's like Ben Affleck plays a really good, dramatic Boston cop. Because he lived in Jersey, he knows the Boston accent, he could do a Jersey voice and stuff. He understands that, and he actually pulls off the drama fairly well. Batman, and he's got such a unique, like teeth setup, where he's got those two front teeth that hang down, that when I see Batman trying to be serious, I'm going to keep seeing those little rabbit teeth in his mouth. He might be alright. The problem is they're going for older Batman, and he does not look like an older Batman. Older Batman needs to almost be like a giant, thick set of, like, ugly muscle. Yeah. Like, angry, ugly muscle. Because they're going for, what story is that?
I know what story you're talking about. It's the one where he comes back out of retirement.
Dark Knight Returns. Dark Knight Returns. Yeah, that's actually the story that they're going for. That's the, apparently Batman hasn't been around or something, and he comes back because Superman shows up, and the Joker is sort of given up like in Dark Knight Returns, and sort of comes back into the game when Batman re-shows up and that sort of thing. So we'll see. I don't actually think he's a good choice.
Okay, last one. This is the top of the list. James Spader as Ultron.
Actually a brilliant option.
I think so too.
Perfectly done. James Spader was the pretty boy when he was younger, and pulled off those roles so well. He was in Stargate, and did a really good job. James Spader, if you've ever seen what is it, Black something? It's a show. The show's on recently.
The Blacklist.
Anyway, The Blacklist. He does so good in that movie. It's almost like it's like a manipulative, brilliant. It's like he's playing Hannibal Lecter, just not a cannibal. He does such a good job, and James Spader is really, really good at bad guys.
He's
surprisingly good. It's almost to the point where it's hard to believe him as a good guy.
He's very dark and subtle. You know what I mean?
And his voice got better. His voice got cooler over time.
Definitely.
And he has that almost like you can tell when an actor is really good when they can pull off quiet lines with intensity. You know what I mean? He's actually probably the most perfect option and perfect choice for this. I figured they were going to say stuff like Robert Downey Jr., Tony Stark, like really good choice. No, they went for all the stupid options of people who haven't actually shown up in movies.
Well, it's the perfect castings in upcoming comic book movies, so.
They didn't even... Oh, okay. They didn't even talk about Aquaman.
Right. Jason Momoa.
Yeah. Jason Momoa actually looks really good in the role. I actually don't think Jason Momoa is probably a very good actor.
Well,
he probably
see, the thing is that...
And I know this is going to sound like heresy for all you people that watch Game of Thrones, but tell me something. Was he actually a good actor, or was just he really scary?
Yeah, there you go.
Because he died fairly early, so don't tell me he's a brilliant actor simply because you like Game of Thrones. The guy just walked around and was mean looking.
It's one of those things where, I looked at some of the promotional photos that they did of Jason Momoa as Aquaman, and
he actually looks
he
cool.
does look cool, but he strikes me more as the Submariner than Aquaman.
Yeah, sort of like a Namor. I like the idea of Jason Momoa because he has a bit of the darker skin color. Mainly because it would make sense that Atlanteans were kind of Greek, Mediterranean, maybe Italian, Greek, maybe a little Arab, so to speak. So I like the idea of having him having a little bit of a darker skin color. I actually think he looks really good as
he
Aquaman.
Looked good.
I'm not entirely convinced he's actually going to be any good at all. All he does is need to act angry and then swing his stick, and he'll probably be fine. But he's not going to actually pull off anything inspiring.
Well, the thing is I'm sitting there
that's like casting The Rock for something. It's like,
I'm looking at him as Aquaman, but what I'm seeing isn't Aquaman. What I'm seeing is Namor. Just because, I'm used to seeing Aquaman as this blonde, fair-skinned guy, and Namor is a darker complexion, dark hair, and so that's what I see when I look at him. And so that's kind of why I don't think he's a good choice for that role, but, they're trying to do gritty and stuff now with the comic book movies and go for more realism.
I'm not so bothered by the fact that Arthur is not blonde and blue-eyed. It actually makes more sense story-wise for the Atlanteans to be Mediterranean.
Yeah, I agree with you. Coming from that perspective, it does make more sense that your Atlanteans would not be blonde and fair-skinned.
This isn't one of those Idris Elba is Heimdall. This is sort of a different setup here.
And now Idris Elba is a good actor. I've enjoyed him in the roles that he's been in.
He's so freaking good. He's so freaking good. Did you hear the recent drama about
no,
him?
I did just see a thing about him being in Star Trek 3, but...
No. There's been a lot of drama because his name was up for possibly Bond at one point.
He can't be Bond.
And Roger Moore came out and said he was a bad choice for Bond, and then everybody gave him crap like he was being racist and stuff. And he's like, well, he's not English enough. And then everyone's like, what do you mean he's not English? He was born in England. That's not the point. Bond is very straightforward, white guy, British, high collar. Idris Elba is a brilliant actor. And I actually think he could pull off most roles without a hitch. He has that slight British accent that he could pull off, and he can actually be very proper if he needs to.
Well, it's one of those...
he does action movies really well, too. As far as Bond, it's just not a good fit.
See, the thing is if you want him to be a spy, do a spy movie and put him in it. Don't call him Bond.
I know. Well, like we've said and argued 1,000 times before, when you take characters who are classically one way and you change their race or gender or whatnot, it doesn't come across as progressive and forward-thinking. It comes across as petty and spiteful. Because you're not doing anything to help the character. You're just like, well, this is a guy, so let's make him a girl now. Because,
Because that shows how progressive and forward-thinking we are.
It's so stupid, and it's offensive, and it pisses me off. That being said, Idris Elba can almost do anything he wants, because he's actually that good an actor. One thing I wanted to...
Go ahead.
Anyway,
we're done with
okay.
the list,
this might actually sound like a bad idea, but I was sitting here thinking, personality-wise and sort of over the top, it's very possible, though The Rock is too thick, so you might have to thin him up a bit and make him, so he can fit. But personality-wise and acting-wise, he could probably pull off a Hal Jordan.
He might be able to.
He's kind of over the top, and so is Hal Jordan. Hal Jordan cracks too many jokes when he's supposed to be saving the world. And he has a bit of that, like, elitist mentality because he's, like, one of the top test pilots and stuff. Personality-wise, The Rock, acting-wise, could fit in Hal Jordan. He just doesn't look the part, and he would have to lose a bunch of weight. And, like, they would have to, like, digitally remove this tattoo for the inevitable, I'm taking off my shirt to show you that I fit. Despite the fact that my power is based off of a ring, not punching people. That came to mind as far as personality-wise. He could actually do that. I'm trying to stretch how I see him. Talk about something. Give me a minute, because I'm coming up with something for Marvel. I kid you not. This is happening.
Well, tonight on our on the next round in our legendary Battle of the Action Heroes Guns Edition, we are going to pit John McClane against RoboCop. Now, just to give you a rundown, John McClane is he thinks fast on his feet. He's a fast talker. He's fast with his gun. He's a scrapper. He doesn't care who he goes into battle with. He's going to do his best to take them down. And he will take damage, and he will keep going. Now, RoboCop, as we've said in previous episodes, RoboCop is a cyborg. He was a police officer. He was almost killed in the line of duty, and then his parts were replaced by robotics to create the perfect cop. Someone who could make snap decisions on the scene, but who was also strong enough to deal with bullets and bad guys and whatnot, and still be able to get the job done. So he's an excellent shot. His assessment software is very good. He does have because he is partly organic, he does have that ability to use his human judgment and things. It was kind of interesting in the most recent iteration of the RoboCop movie, where they tried to take that away and just make it so that it appeared that he was using his human judgment, and he actually was able to break his programming and become what they wanted him to be, which kind of ruined their plans, actually, which was kind of nice. I liked that twist in the movie. So, any reactions, Rhett? The thing is we don't want to just say RoboCop. We want to try to give this a good...
Yeah, so in reality, John McClane is a scrapper, like you said, and he will do this in an almost organic,
yes, he will,
dirty sort of way. He'll figure out a way to scramble out of the way as he's being shot. He'll grab a bazooka if he can, or he'll find a way to sort of swing something down on him or whatever. The problem is RoboCop is so technologically advanced and so good that he could probably see his heat signature as he moves around, and very little.
Well, the other thing is that John McClane, and I didn't say this at the time, but it just occurred to me as we've been talking. John McClane is good at snatching victory from the jaws of defeat. He is very good at coming up with last-minute plans that work. I don't know how much that would help him in this instance, but there you go. I can see what you're saying with John McClane being, scrambling around, going about this in a way that's not normal. It's not predictable what he would do next. And he uses what he has at hand to come up with a plan that could possibly net him the victory in this case.
You know what? That's a fair argument. And I wanted to... Immediately, I'd just be, RoboCop. But John McClane's one of those guys. It's like, he's the type of guy where, like in Predator, it would have taken very little time to figure out to cover himself with mud so that he can't be seen. He's the type of guy where he has If he's fighting somebody who's physically better, instead of trying to nose
exactly,
with them, he hits them with a car. I'm somewhat convinced that interestingly
he
enough,
might be able to. I think he could take RoboCop. He might be walking away with a limp and a broken arm, but he might be able to do it.
I'm tipping, unless you could convince me that RoboCop's got the. I'm
thinking about RoboCop, and RoboCop is pretty straightforward in this instance. Since he is a cyborg and he is durable, he just kind of goes through the bad guys. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's somewhat predictable in that way, and McClane is extremely unpredictable.
Do we want to give it to McClane?
Woo!
Let's give it to McClane.
I want to give it to McClane.
That's awesome. All right, so RoboCop
awesome.
is out in this round. McClane moves on to the championship, where he will face his final opponent between Mad Max and Judge Dredd. Yeah.
Ooh. You know what would be so fascinating is to see a Mad Max.
That would be, because they're both kind of that scrappy fighter that goes out of their way to do things that are unpredictable and unexpected.
Yeah. That being said, thinking about The Rock, one of the things that came to mind was he's not a superhero, but he's in the Marvel Universe. Is he could actually pull off a fairly good Flash Thompson?
He's not a teenager.
The problem is he's not.
Yeah. Well, actually, Flash Thompson.
Well,
he currently
at one point
is
he gets the symbiote, if I recall.
So he is currently Venom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's like a way down the road.
The thing is that actually, and this is something that could be interesting. Venom crosses over with Guardians of the Galaxy as Flash Thompson and the symbiote. So if we were to see maybe Dwayne Johnson as Venom,
I think he could pull off the Flash personality, the Venom personality. He's not maniacal enough. He's not that. The other thing that came to mind is possibly Captain Atom. I think he could actually pull off the military straight.
Well, the thing is that maybe in that case he doesn't play a superhero. Instead, he plays more like the General Ross type, where he's there to goad the superhero. He's there to be a foil to him, as in the case of the Tommy Lee Jones in Captain America.
Oh, there were some Captain America villains that he could actually play fairly well. There was a Captain America character that actually became a villain at some point. It was sort of this tragic story. I forget what the guy's name is, but his face was painted with an American flag, and he was one of the later sort of screw-up efforts to make a super soldier during Vietnam. And they did such crap to him, and then they had him do such horrible things during the war, that he kind of went nuts later. And Captain America had to deal with him, but almost regretfully, because he regretted what the country
was it Jack
had
Flag?
done to him, and what role the country it might have been.
I'm trying to come up with something here. No, he doesn't have his face painted. He has red, white, and blue hair, and he has a cloth over his face. Frank Simpson. Yeah, Nuke. That's who it was. Here, let me forward this over to you. I'm pretty sure this is the one you're thinking of.
I'm still looking at this list. Give me a second. That's actually an interesting character. I think would actually be fascinating to throw in. I don't know if The Rock could really do it. But it would be interesting to see him thrown into that role.
They also have a Hercules in the
the
Marvel universe. I don't know how he compares.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Doesn't he die
don't
in the
think
Civil
so,
War? I think he does. I don't recall. I still think he would have actually been a better Captain Marvel, but one possible option. That's sort of way out there, and you wouldn't see him forever, but
maybe, yeah.
Gladiator, maybe. Because Gladiator's a flamboyant enough character. Having him go over the top. Yeah, having him go over the top, especially since he's alien, would probably fit very well. This might be one of those things where I chew on it forever, and that he just doesn't have a perfect role for him in the Marvel universe.
Yeah, Flash Thompson is probably an excellent character for him. And like I said, and you made the comment there when I said that, Flash Thompson is now Venom. He could do the Flash Thompson, but the thing is that the current Venom, with Flash Thompson being the symbiote, he has a kill switch installed in his head, so he's actually he's not as over the top as Venom has been in previous iterations.
Yeah, he actually fought with Guardians of the Galaxy. They're doing a solo Venom movie. Actually, with the mix-up and the combination of the two universes, I don't know if those are still in the plans, but they had a plan to do a solo Venom movie.
See, the thing with Venom is he's both a villain and he has been an anti-hero. And so it could be a good movie, depending on which way they go with it, but at the same time, it's like, well, they have to be really careful with that one. I don't know that I would touch it.
Yeah, they would have to commit almost a full movie or even two to a Venom character. It's like everybody thinks Carnage is one of the just coolest villains people have seen in a long time, but you'd have to set up a Venom movie. We're talking 2-3 movies down the road before Carnage shows up. It's almost like a Thanos effort.
Yeah.
To pull him into a story. But if they did a Maximum Carnage scenario with a 3-movie deal with Spider-Man showing up and stuff, it would be so flippin' fascinating. Because look at it this way. So they're combined. Now Spider-Man can cross over the Marvel Universe. They set it up with a Venom. Venom becomes this big deal. Let's say in movie 2. Movie 3, Venom's still a problem, but Carnage shows up and he's out of control. And Carnage is like the nutcase
Cassidy
killer,
Clay, if I remember right. Clay Cassidy.
And actually, Clay Cassidy. And he brings New York to its knees in chaos. And Venom teams up with Spider-Man because he hates the idea of anybody else having the symbiote suit. And as New York falls apart, you could potentially have Captain America, Iron Man, because Carnage literally sparks off a lot of other villains, so it doesn't have
Spider-Man,
to be Superman running around by himself. You could have cameos with Captain America and a bunch of other characters in the movie. Because they would be there. They would be around, or maybe one of them's gone or something, but you could literally have some showing up to help try and, crowd control as stuff gets out of control. And eventually, in the end, Spider-Man gets Carnage off to the side, and they have their epic fight. But the city got so bad that it was starting to kill each other. Like, Spider-Man was literally just punching crowds. No, I kid you not. He was punching through crowds and civilians. Because I don't remember what Carnage did, but he did something.
The Carnage is a big problem. Carnage is awful.
Yeah, and that could be like an epic full movie, just riots and chaos in the streets, so to speak, of just Carnage being there. And for the first half, it's like you build up with this psycho. He's doing stuff. He gets out. He has a symbiote suit, and then it's like you do a third of the movie.
Yeah, that would be
just
so
chaos.
bad. Just the whole city falling apart because of
it would be so good.
Oh shoot! Because of Carnage.
Oh, it would be good. You have no idea.
It would be an interesting
I'd love
movie, I
it.
think, if they, go in that direction. But that's all the time we have for today. So, anything you want to leave them with before we go?
Oh boy. Thanks for hanging out with us. I wrote a blog post. It should be up in the next day or so, I assume, for Amish Baby Machine. Sorry, guys. Amish Baby Machine. I've been talking to them off and on, and they've been a friend of the podcast on Twitter as well as Facebook. Nice guys. They like to do a lot of the meme stuff, and they're crazy random. I've listened to one of their... They jumped from... one of the last podcasts I caught up on was they were talking about how, it was something about stupid about going to fast food restaurants or something like that, and then they would talk about, some TV show. So it's all over the place, but it's fairly entertaining.
Okay.
And they recently started a Patreon campaign. So if you guys actually get the opportunity to listen to it and decide that you like them, give them at least the opportunity before, I'm not one of those people that are trying to push to give other people money, but give them the opportunity to listen to them. And if you like them, then go for it. But, they're pretty cool. And I wrote a blog post for them.
Cool.
It'll probably be up there about Call of Duty or something. But, yeah. That's another thing. We're networking. This is what we do, Jason. This is our thing now.
Okay.
Just suck.
Yeah, I have a hard time liking people enough to actually pay attention to them.
That's my job. Here's the weird thing. As I've started to write blog posts as of late, because I wrote one for our website, I've started to, as my out signature, at the very end of the blog post, I've started to write "suck it."
Well, see, the thing is that you're angry. I just don't care.
Yeah, but I put it on the blog post I wrote up for them. I just wrote in there "suck it, internet." Catch you guys later,
awesome.
And then sign my name. That's basically how I feel.
Right.
I mean, I'm being honest.
Well, that's one of the things.
What
It's
more
like
can I do?
we're trying to be honest on our with our fans with our fan and the internet in general. And I don't know that honesty goes over very well in the internet.
Come on, there are people out there.
There
that
you
are
go.
gluttons for punishment.
Well, that's all we
No
have
chance.
time for. So don't do anything lethally stupid, or do whatever you want. I don't care.
Jason's like, he doesn't even want to save you anymore. At first it was this public service announcement, and now he's like, you know what, just do it. Maybe we should start doing sort of a, for a little while at least, let's start making
PSAs?
like a PSA that you used to have at the end of like G.I. Joe.
Friends don't let friends watch PewDiePie.
So I'll make up one. Oh, that's a good one. You stole one that should have been mine. Let's see. I've got one. Oh, okay. I've got one.
Okay.
I'm going to steal from A League of Their Own, which Tom Hanks' character wrote on a baseball when he gave to a little kid. Avoid the clap.
That's all. We'll catch you later this week.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Distracted Gamers podcast. If you like the show, follow Rhett and Jason, the world's two most lethally stupid internet personalities on Twitter @DG Podcast, or check them out at www.thedistractedgamers.com. If you loved or hated what you've heard here, email them at thedistractedgamers.blogspot.com and share your feelings. Not that Jason will care, since he hasn't any, of course.